The year was 2075, and humanity had spread its wings beyond Earth. People lived and worked on Mars and Europa now. The Red Planet hosted 3 large domes where nearly 50,000 humans called home. Europa, with its vast ocean under thick ice, had become the perfect place for underwater research stations. Earth still remained the center of human civilization, but everyone knew the future of mankind lay among the stars. Captain Lisa Wolf stood on the bridge of the UNS Valiant, her eyes fixed on the large display screen. At 42, she had spent most of her adult life in space. Her short brown hair showed touches of gray, and lines had formed around her blue eyes from years of making difficult decisions. "Captain, we're picking up an unusual signal near Neptune," said Lieutenant Paul Green, his fingers moving quickly across the control panel. "It doesn't match any known human frequency." Lisa walked closer to his station. "Could it be interference? From Neptune's magnetic field?" "No, ma'am. The pattern is too regular. It's definitely artificial." Lisa took a deep breath. For years, scientists had wondered if humans were alone in the universe. Now the answer might be approaching Neptune. "Alert. Earth Command. Set course for the signal's location. And Lieutenant Green, let's keep this quiet among the crew for now." Within 24 hours, the UNS Valiant reached the area near Neptune where the signal originated. What they found made everyone on the bridge fall silent. A massive ship, at least 5 times larger than the Valiant, hovered there. Its smooth, metallic surface reflected Neptune's blue glow. "Captain, they're hailing us," said Communications Officer Diane Miller. Lisa straightened her uniform jacket. On screen, the display flickered and revealed a humanoid figure with pale blue skin and large almond-shaped eyes. It had no hair, and its ears were small indentations on the sides of its head. "Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Zixtal of the Arcturian delegation, representing the Galactic Council. We have been observing your species for some time and have determined you are ready for first contact." Word of the alien encounter spread quickly throughout the solar system. Within days, the United Earth government called an emergency meeting. Admiral William Porter, a tall man with a stern face and strong presence, led the session from the UEG headquarters in Geneva. "Ladies and gentlemen, the Arcturian delegate Zixtal has requested a formal meeting to present the terms for Earth to join something called the Galactic Council," Admiral Porter explained to the room of 50 government officials. "This is without doubt the most important diplomatic event in human history." 3 days later, in a specially prepared conference room at the Luna colony, the meeting took place. Admiral Porter sat at the center of the human delegation. Captain Lisa Wolf stood behind him, along with 5 other military officers and 10 civilian scientists and diplomats. Zixtal entered with 4 other aliens, each from different species. One had green-scaled skin and moved like a reptile. Another was short and stocky with orange fur covering its body. The third floated slightly above the ground, its transparent body pulsing with light. The fourth wore a special suit filled with liquid and moved with slow swimming motions. "We represent the Galactic Council, a federation of 27 spacefaring species," Zixtal began. "For 50,000 years, we have maintained peace and order throughout this sector of the galaxy. We offer Earth membership in our esteemed council." Admiral Porter nodded respectfully. "We are honored by your invitation. What would membership entail?" Zixtal's large eyes blinked slowly. "The terms are standard for all new species. Humans must limit expansion to your solar system for 200 years. All your technology must be shared with the Council for evaluation. And all future technological development will require Council oversight to ensure galactic stability." The room grew tense. The human delegates exchanged concerned glances. "And what benefits would Earth receive in return?" asked Dr. Susan Rivera, Earth's leading xenobiologist. "Protection from hostile species, limited access to Council star charts, and eventual integration into galactic trade networks," replied Zixtal. "These are generous terms. All current Council members accepted them upon their invitation. Admiral Porter asked for time to consider the proposal, and the aliens agreed to return in 1 week for Earth's answer. The following days saw heated debates throughout the United Earth government. In the end, the decision was unanimous. The terms were unacceptable. When the aliens returned, Admiral Porter delivered Earth's response in a calm but firm voice. While we appreciate the Council's invitation, we must decline these terms. Humanity cannot accept limitations on our growth or external control of our technological development. We propose instead a mutual exchange of knowledge and open diplomatic relations as equals. The alien delegates seemed stunned. Zixtal's blue skin paled slightly. This is unprecedented. No species has ever refused Council membership. Zixtal's voice carried a note of confusion. Perhaps we were unclear about the honor being offered. We understand the honor, replied Admiral Porter, but we cannot sacrifice our independence. Zixtal conferred with the other aliens in a language no human could understand. Their gestures suggested disagreement among themselves. We will return to the Council with your response, Zixtal finally said. We shall develop better terms that might be more agreeable to your species. As the alien delegation departed the solar system, Admiral Porter called an emergency session with Earth's top military commanders and scientists. They didn't take our rejection well, he told the gathered leaders in a secure underground facility in Colorado. I suspect their return will not be as friendly. We need to prepare. Captain Lisa Wolf, now promoted to oversee a new defense initiative, presented her assessment. The alien ship's technology far exceeds our own, but it's not magical. From what we observed, they're perhaps 200 years ahead of us. We need to accelerate our development program. Dr. Alan Martinez, a weapons designer, spoke next. We've been analyzing the scan data from the Valiant. Their ship uses a form of energy manipulation we've only theorized. If we divert all resources, we might be able to develop similar technology within 5 years instead of 50. Admiral Porter looked around the room. Then that's what we'll do. As of today, Project Defender becomes our top priority. Every major lab and research center around the solar system will participate. As the meeting ended, Lisa walked with Admiral Porter down a long corridor. Do you think they'll come back with force? She asked quietly. Porter's face showed the weight of his concerns. In my experience, when someone offers you terms that benefit them far more than you and you refuse, they rarely come back with better offers. They come back with threats. Lisa nodded. Then we better be ready. Outside Earth's atmosphere, unknown to humans, a small cloaked probe left by the Arcturians recorded everything. As humanity began its hurried preparations, the probe transmitted all it saw back to the Council. The message would take 3 weeks to reach its destination, traveling faster than light but still constrained by the vast distances of space. The Galactic Council was about to face something they had never encountered in 50,000 years, a species that said no. 3 weeks after the humans rejected the Council's offer, the massive Council chambers on Proxima Centauri's third planet buzzed with angry voices. The chamber was built like a giant bowl, with raised platforms circling up the sides. Each platform held representatives from one of the 27 member species. High Chancellor Vrinka, a tall Centaurian with gray skin and 4 arms, raised all 4 of his limbs for silence. His voice boomed through the chamber. Order! We must have order, he shouted. Slowly the noise died down. For 50,000 years, the Galactic Council has maintained peace and order. For 50,000 years, every species we have invited has accepted our generous terms. Until now. Murmurs rippled through the chamber again. The humans have rejected our standard terms, continued Vrinka. This situation is unprecedented. From the lower level, a large insect-like creature rose on its hind legs. This was Kaznar, leader of the warrior Scythian race. There is no need for discussion. Kaznar clicked, its mandibles moving rapidly. The humans show disrespect. We should send our warships immediately and force them to submit. One small planet cannot stand against the Council's might. Several species chittered or rumbled in agreement, but from across the chamber a bubbling sound emerged. An aquatic Mulian raised its translucent tentacle from inside its water tank. Violence is not the answer, the Mulian's words translated through the chamber's speakers. Perhaps our standard terms are no longer appropriate. The humans have shown remarkable progress for such a young species. Maybe we should offer more favorable terms. The debate raged for hours. Unknown to most in the chamber, a human spy listened to every word. Keith Harris had infiltrated the council's maintenance staff 3 years ago. With his genetically altered skin tone and subtle facial modifications, he passed as a member of the Battilian race, a minor species known for their quiet service. Keith moved around the chamber, pretending to fix various systems while recording everything. The council had never faced rejection before. They had no plan for this situation. Best of all, they were divided on how to proceed. When the session ended, Keith slipped away to his small quarters in the service section. There, he activated his quantum communicator, a device that shouldn't exist according to known human technology. The message would take days to reach Earth, but its contents would be valuable. Council in chaos, he recorded. 3 main factions forming: military action, improved diplomacy, or continued observation. No consensus reached. Will update when decision made. 2 days later, the council reconvened. Before any resolution could be reached, an alarm sounded throughout the chamber. Guards rushed in. An unauthorized ship has entered the system, announced the security chief. It's a human vessel. The chamber erupted in shocked exclamations. No new species had ever found the council homeworld without being guided there. On the main display screen, a human ship appeared. It was smaller than the massive council vessels, but sleek and clearly built for both speed and combat. They are requesting permission to dock, said the security chief, his voice showing rare confusion. They claim to have an official human ambassador aboard. After a brief discussion, Chancellor Vrinka granted permission. 1 hour later, a human woman walked confidently into the council chamber. She wore a simple blue uniform with a small Earth emblem. Her dark skin contrasted with her short white hair, and despite being in her 60s, she moved with strength and purpose. I am Ambassador Olivia Daniels of Earth, she announced to the stunned council. I come with a counter-proposal from the United Earth government. Chancellor Vrinka recovered quickly. This is highly irregular. How did you find our location? Olivia smiled politely. We have our methods, Chancellor. The same methods that allowed us to translate your languages and understand your technology so quickly. This statement sent another wave of murmurs through the chamber. Keith Harris, still disguised as a maintenance worker, hid his smile. The quantum communicator he'd sent to Earth 3 years ago had given humans access to much of the Council's data. What is this counter-proposal? Asked Vrinka. Earth will join the Galactic Council, said Olivia. But as a fully equal founding member, with the same rights as the original Council species and no restrictions on our development or expansion. Laughter erupted from several platforms. Kaznar's clicking sound was particularly loud. Absurd, the insectoid creature said. You are barely space-capable. The founding members have guided galactic civilization for 50 millennia. You have had spaceflight for less than 2 centuries. Olivia remained calm. Yet we found you without your help. And we've already begun to improve upon your technology. This claim brought shocked silence to the chamber. From his hiding spot, Keith Harris activated a small device. Suddenly, every screen in the council chamber showed the same image. Schematics for the council's own ships, but with modifications and improvements highlighted in red. What is this? Demanded Vrinka. Our engineering team's suggestions for improving your propulsion systems, replied Olivia. We could increase efficiency by 28% with these changes. The crystalline representative of the Pix, a species known for their scientific achievements, studied the schematics with growing interest. These modifications are sound, the Pix admitted, its voice chiming like glass bells. How did a young species discover these improvements so quickly? Because you've stopped looking for improvements, said Olivia. We've reviewed your technological development over the past 1,000 years. The rate of innovation has decreased by 70% in that time. Keith Harris moved closer to the Kaznar section. While everyone focused on Ambassador Daniels, he placed a tiny device under their platform and moved away casually. Chancellor Vrinka raised his forearms again for silence. Your audacity is remarkable, human. But the Council has existed for 50,000 years with our current structure. We will not change it for newcomers. Olivia nodded as if expecting this answer. We understand. Then we must respectfully decline membership again. Earth will continue its independent development and expansion. You cannot simply expand into space without Council approval, shouted Kaznar. Those systems are under our protection. Protection from what? Asked Olivia. In our studies of your records, we found no external threats to the galaxy. The Council seems to exist primarily to control its members, not protect them. Keith Harris smiled again. His earlier transmissions had included this crucial information. The Council's primary purpose had shifted from protection to control thousands of years ago. As Ambassador Daniels prepared to leave, Keith activated his final device. Throughout the chamber, small projections appeared above each Council member's platform. Detailed records showing how the Council had systematically suppressed technological development in all member species. Chaos erupted in the chamber. Some representatives demanded explanations. Others called for the humans' arrest. But Olivia Daniels was already returning to her ship, her mission accomplished. As she left, she caught the eye of a maintenance worker who gave her a nearly imperceptible nod. Keith Harris would remain behind, gathering more information for Earth. The Galactic Council, stable for 50,000 years, now faced an internal crisis along with the human problem. For the first time in living memory, member species were questioning the Council's leadership and motives, and on Earth, preparations continued for what everyone now believed was inevitable: conflict with the Galactic Council. 6 months passed since Ambassador Olivia Daniels' visit to the Council. Earth used this time wisely. Factories across the solar system worked day and night. New weapons were tested, ships were built, soldiers trained for space combat. Everyone knew war was coming. Commander Mason Gray stood on the bridge of Earth's newest defense station orbiting the moon. At 35, he had risen quickly through military ranks during the rapid buildup. His strong jaw was set in determination as he watched the screens. Sir, long-range sensors are picking up multiple objects entering the solar system, reported Sensor Officer Judy Bennett. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel. Pattern matches the Council ships from our database. Many ships, sir. At least 30. Mason nodded. Alert all defense stations. Put the fleet on standby, and inform President Cole immediately. Within an hour, a massive Council fleet took position in Earth orbit. The ships arranged themselves in a half-circle, weapons visible but not powered. It was a show of force meant to intimidate. From the lead vessel, a transmission came through. This is Council General Draz. We bring the final decision of the Galactic Council regarding humanity's place in the galactic community. The transmission was directed to the United Earth Government headquarters in Geneva. There, President Samantha Cole, a woman with stern eyes and silver-streaked black hair, sat with her advisors around a large table. The room was secure against any known form of surveillance. Put him on screen, ordered President Cole. General Draz appeared on the display. He belonged to the same insectoid species as Kaznar. His exoskeleton gleamed with decorations indicating his high rank. President Cole, the Galactic Council has deliberated on your species' unusual response to our generous offer. Draz began, his mandibles clicking between words. We have decided to offer modified terms. President Cole remained, expressionless. We're listening. Earth may maintain limited autonomy in its internal affairs, said Draz. However, you must accept Council military bases on Mars and your moon for your own protection. Your expansion will be limited to pre-approved star systems, and your more advanced weapons research must cease immediately. Around the table, military advisors exchanged glances. These terms were barely different from the original ones. President Cole's voice remained calm. General Draz, we appreciate the Council taking time to reconsider. However, these terms remain unacceptable to humanity. Draz's compound eyes seemed to flash with anger. This is not a negotiation, President Cole. The Council has made its decision. You have 24 hours to begin compliance, or we will be forced to demonstrate the consequences of defiance. The screen went dark as Draz cut the transmission. Defense Secretary Harold Wilson spoke first. They're planning to attack regardless of our answer. This is just a formality to them. President Cole nodded. Then it's time to show them our trump card. General Baker, is the shield system ready? Yes, Madam President, replied General Baker. All major cities and military installations are protected. We can activate the system within 5 minutes. And the special project? She asked. Ready as well, confirmed the general. Good. Send the order to Commander Gray. Operation Sun Flare is now active. In space, Commander Mason Gray received the encoded message. He immediately ordered his crew to their battle stations. Activate quantum shields, he commanded, and prepare the new weapon system for defensive use only. Throughout Earth's orbit, hidden satellites activated. A network of energy fields began to form, connecting them in a protective web around the planet. On the Council Fleet's command ship, General Draz observed the sudden energy readings with confusion. What are they doing? He asked his science officer. Unknown, General. These energy patterns don't match anything in our database. Draz clicked his mandibles impatiently. It doesn't matter. Their primitive defenses cannot stand against us. Prepare. A demonstration strike. Target their orbital defense station. The largest Council ship moved forward, its main weapon powering up. The massive cannon fired a beam of energy directly at Commander Gray's station. What happened next shocked everyone watching. The beam hit an invisible barrier and scattered into harmless light. The defense station remained completely untouched. Impossible, shouted Draz. Fire again, full power. 3 ships fired simultaneously. Again, their beams dissipated against the shield. On Earth, President Cole watched the failed attack through a secure feed. She turned to her communications officer. Open a channel to General Draz. When Draz's agitated face appeared on screen, President Cole spoke calmly. As you can see, General, we've been busy these past 6 months. Your weapons cannot penetrate our quantum shields. This technology is beyond your civilization's capability, Draz insisted. You have stolen Council secrets. No, General. We improved upon what we learned from studying your ships. Your Council has been holding back true innovation for centuries. While they spoke, 3 human colony ships suddenly launched from Earth's far side. Their engines flared brightly as they accelerated rapidly toward the outer solar system. Stop those ships, Draz ordered his fleet. Several Council vessels broke formation to pursue. President Cole's voice hardened. Those ships are filled with civilians, General. They are headed for star systems that we have claimed for colonization. Those systems are under Council protection. You have no authority. We reject your authority over unclaimed star systems, interrupted President Cole. Those colonies will proceed as planned. Furious, General Draz ended the transmission. He immediately ordered a strike against Earth's main defense command in Houston. If we cannot penetrate their shields in space, we will strike from the atmosphere, he told his officers. 5 smaller attack ships descended toward Earth. Commander Gray tracked their approach. They're heading for Houston. Alert ground defenses. The attack ships entered Earth's atmosphere, attempting to get under the orbital shield network. As they approached Houston, they suddenly encountered another shield layer much closer to the ground. From hidden bunkers around the city, defense towers emerged. They fired precision energy pulses at the Council ships. 2 attackers exploded immediately. A third spun out of control and crashed into the Gulf of Mexico. The remaining 2 retreated to space. General Draz could not believe the reports coming in. How is this possible? They were barely spacefaring 6 months ago. In Geneva, President Cole called for another transmission to Draz's ship. This time, her expression showed controlled anger. Your unprovoked attack on our civilian defense center will not be forgotten, General. We could destroy your entire fleet right now, but that is not our way. She nodded to someone off screen. Suddenly, every Council ship's weapon system went offline simultaneously. Their engines stalled. Only life support and basic functions remained operational. We're giving you a chance to leave peacefully, said President Cole. Take your ships and return to the Council. Tell them that Earth is not to be threatened again. Next time we won't be so merciful. One by one, the disabled council ships were allowed to restart their engines. The once mighty fleet limped away from Earth, thoroughly defeated without humanity, having fired a single shot in space. As they departed, Commander Gray received a message from a small council ship requesting private communication. When he accepted, a familiar face appeared. Keith Harris, still in his alien disguise. "Commander, I need to return home," said Keith quietly. "I have critical information about the Council's next move. This isn't over yet." The Council chambers had never seen such disorder. Representatives shouted over each other. Some pounded their platforms in anger. Others huddled in small groups, whispering. The news of the human victory over General Draz's fleet had shattered the Council's sense of superiority. High Chancellor Vrinka struggled to maintain control. "Order! We must have order to discuss this matter properly." Keith Harris, now back in his human form, watched the council meeting from a secure room in Geneva. After 3 years undercover, he had returned to Earth with valuable intelligence. Now he was briefing President Cole and her advisors on what he was seeing in the live feed from the council chambers. "The defeat has caused a major split," Keith explained. "At least 5 species are now openly questioning the council leadership." "Which ones?" asked President Cole. "The Pix, the crystalline beings, have always valued scientific progress. They're impressed by our technological leap. The Mulians, the water dwellers, have been advocating for peace. The Batilians, whose identity I borrowed, feel they've been treated as second-class citizens for millennia. The Vordax and Lyrians have similar complaints." Dr. Nathan Blackwell, a man with kind eyes and a thoughtful expression, spoke up. "I've been secretly meeting with representatives from those species for the past 3 months. They're interested in forming an alliance with us." President Cole raised an eyebrow. "Without my knowledge, Doctor?" "I needed deniability for both sides, Madam President," explained Dr. Blackwell. "If the Council discovered these meetings, it could have triggered an immediate attack before our defenses were ready." The President nodded her understanding. "And now?" "Now they're ready to break from the Council and join what we're calling the Free Systems Alliance." On the screen, Chancellor Vrinka was finally establishing some order in the chambers. General Draz stood before the Council, his posture showing his humiliation. "The humans have developed technology that should be impossible for their development stage," Draz was saying. "Their shields absorbed our most powerful weapons with no visible strain, and they disabled our ships without destroying them, showing both mercy and superior capability." Kaznar, the leader of Draz's species, clicked his mandibles angrily. "They must have had help. Who among the Council has betrayed us by sharing advanced technology with these upstarts?" No one answered, but many representatives shifted uncomfortably. "In Dapur, Geneva," Keith Harris smiled. "Our disinformation campaign is working. They can't believe we developed these technologies on our own, so they're suspecting each other." President Cole turned to her defense secretary. "Harold, how are our fleet preparations coming along?" "The asteroid belt factories are operating at full capacity," he replied. "We'll have 50 new battleships ready within 2 months." "Good. Dr. Blackwell, arrange formal meetings with your 5 potential allies. It's time to bring this alliance into the open." Over the next few weeks, human diplomatic teams traveled to 5 different star systems. Ambassador Frank Mitchell, a man with a talent for building trust, led the Earth delegation. Unlike the Council's approach of intimidation, the humans offered genuine partnership and technological cooperation. The Pix were the first to formally join the alliance. Their crystalline architecture sparkled as Ambassador Mitchell signed the treaty with their elder crystal. "For 10,000 years we have watched our scientific progress slow under Council restrictions," chimed the elder. "Already working with humans, we have made more advancements than in the previous millennium." The Battalions joined next, followed quickly by the Vordax. The Mulians and Lyrians took slightly longer, but eventually signed as well. Meanwhile, the Council was facing another crisis. Their economic model had always depended on resource contributions from all member species. With 5 members now refusing to provide these resources, critical shortages began to appear. Council spy drones discovered the massive human fleet construction in the asteroid belt. The images caused panic among many Council species. Kaznar and his militarist faction attempted to use this fear to seize control of the Council. "We must strike now before their fleet is complete," Kaznar demanded. "We can still crush these humans and their traitor allies if we act immediately." But the majority of Council species refused to support this plan. The human demonstration of power had made them cautious. If 5 ships could return defeated from Earth, what might happen to a larger fleet? In a bold move, Earth released the files Keith Harris had collected during his years as a spy. These documents revealed how the Council had systematically suppressed technological development among member species. The files showed that innovations were routinely classified as potentially destabilizing and hidden away. The effect was immediate and dramatic. 12 more species declared their independence from the Council and requested alliance membership. The once mighty Galactic Council, ruler of thousands of star systems for 50 millennia, now controlled barely 1/3 of its former territory. Chancellor Vrinka, desperate to prevent complete collapse, called for an emergency session with the remaining loyal species. "We must offer the humans and their allies something to stop this rebellion," he told the diminished assembly. A diplomatic package was prepared offering Earth everything they had initially asked for: full membership with equal rights, unrestricted technological development, and free expansion rights to over 100 star systems. Ambassador Mitchell received the offer during a ceremony welcoming the newest alliance members. He read it carefully, then looked up at the Council representative. "You don't understand," he said calmly. "Those terms were last year's terms. The situation has changed." The Council representative, a small furry being, blinked in confusion. "What do you want now?" "We don't want anything from the Council," replied Mitchell. "The Free Systems Alliance is not interested in your approval or permission. We simply notify you as a courtesy that we will be operating independently in this sector of the galaxy. But the Council has maintained order for 50,000 years. Without us, there will be chaos." Ambassador Mitchell smiled politely. "No, there will be freedom. Your concept of order meant control and suppression. Our alliance is founded on cooperation and mutual respect." That evening, Mitchell reported back to President Cole. "The Council is offering everything now, but it's too late. The alliance has 17 member species and counting." President Cole nodded, looking at the star map showing alliance territory in green and shrinking Council space in red. "They still don't understand why we refused their original offer. It was never about the terms." "It was about the principle," agreed Mitchell. "No sovereign species should accept external control of its destiny." "Exactly," said President Cole. "And now every species that joins us makes that same choice to determine their own future." She studied the map again. "How long until the Council completely collapses, do you think?" Mitchell considered the question. "At this rate, perhaps 1 more year. Their economic system is failing. Their military is deserting. Their authority is questioned everywhere. And after the Council falls? Then the real work begins," said Mitchell. "Building something better in its place." 1 year later, the grand building that once housed the Galactic Council had a new name and purpose. Now it served as headquarters for the Galactic Confederation. Inside the main chamber, representatives from 32 different species gathered for the first official assembly. Unlike the old Council's tiered platforms that placed some species physically above others, the Confederation chamber featured a circular arrangement where all representatives sat at the same level. The change in design reflected the new balance of power among galactic civilizations. Professor Diana Wright, the constitutional expert who had drafted much of the Confederation Charter, watched with pride as the session began. At 58, she had never imagined her legal expertise would shape interstellar relations. "The first session of the Galactic Confederation is now in session," announced the elected chairperson, a Pix elder whose crystalline body shimmered with multicolored light. "As our first order of business, we welcome our newest members, the Zentari and the Volok's." Representatives from 2 former Council species stepped forward to sign the charter. With their addition, Only 8 species remained loyal to what was left of the old council, now retreated to a distant arm of the galaxy. In orbit above the Confederation homeworld, Admiral Amy Russell commanded the combined peacekeeping fleet. Her ship, the Earth vessel Freedom, patrolled alongside vessels from a dozen different species. At 43, Admiral Russell had risen quickly through the ranks during Earth's rapid military expansion. Admiral, long-range sensors are picking up unusual signals from the Perseus arm, reported her Lyrian communications officer. The fox-like alien's ears twitched as he adjusted his equipment. It doesn't match any known Confederation or Council pattern. Admiral Russell frowned. Alert, Confederation Command, and send a small reconnaissance team to investigate. Back in the Confederation chamber, Dr. Ryan Edwards was presenting his revolutionary FTL communication system. At just 35, he had become Earth's leading expert on quantum communications. By linking quantum particles across vast distances, this system will allow instant communication between all Confederation worlds, he explained to the assembled representatives. No more waiting weeks for messages to travel between star systems. A Mulian representative raised a tentacle. Under the old council, such technology would have been restricted as potentially destabilizing. How quickly can it be implemented throughout Confederation space? We've already begun production of the relay stations, replied Dr. Edwards. With the help of Pix crystal technology and Battalion energy systems, we could have the basic network operational within 6 months. Around the chamber, representatives marveled at the pace of technological advancement. In just over a year since breaking from council restrictions, member species had achieved more progress than in the previous century. In a research facility on Mars, Dr. Nathan Blackwell met with scientists from 5 different species. They had been working together to understand why the council had suppressed technological development for so long. We've analyzed thousands of classified council documents, Dr. Blackwell told the assembled team. The pattern is clear. Approximately 47,000 years ago, the founding species encountered something that terrified them, an advanced machine intelligence that had conquered several galaxies. The holographic display showed ancient records of a devastating war. The images were fragmented but showed clearly the destruction of entire planets. The Council's original purpose was noble, to prevent any species from developing technology that might attract this entity's attention again, continued Dr. Blackwell. But over time, that purpose became corrupted. Control became more important than protection. They forgot the reason behind their restrictions. On Earth, President Samantha Cole prepared for a historic address to both Earth's population and the wider Confederation. Her 8 years in office had seen humanity go from a single-system civilization to a founding member of a galactic alliance. People of Earth and citizens of the Confederation, she began, her image transmitted to thousands of worlds. 1 year ago, we faced what seemed like an overwhelming force, a galactic council that had ruled for 50 millennia. Today, we stand as equals among the stars. She paused, looking directly into the camera. Many have asked why Earth rejected the Council's original peace offers. Some believed it was pride or ambition. Today I can tell you the truth. Our rejection was not about the terms themselves, but about what they represented. The suppression of potential, the control of development, the denial of self-determination. Images appeared beside her showing the technological advances of the past year, new medical treatments developed by combined human and alien research, faster ships, cleaner energy sources, and more. The Confederation was born not from conquest but from a shared desire for freedom. Unlike the Council, we do not fear advancement or change. We embrace it. We do not control our member species. We empower them. As President Cole spoke, Admiral Russell's reconnaissance team reported back from the Perseus arm. The unusual signals were coming from an approaching vessel of unknown design. It was massive, larger than anything in Confederation or Council records. In the Confederation chamber, a priority alert interrupted the session. The chairperson's crystalline form dimmed slightly as they processed the information. Representatives, We have received a transmission from deep space. It appears to be from another galactic federation, one from the Andromeda Galaxy. The chamber fell silent. First contact with an entirely new group of species was monumental news. The message was displayed for all to see. Greetings, developing civilizations of the Milky Way. We represent the Andromedan Collective, a union of 117 advanced species. We have observed your recent political restructuring with interest. We offer you guidance and protection under our established protocols. Your technological development will be managed to ensure galactic stability. We await your acceptance of these generous terms. The similarities to the Council's original offer to Earth were unmistakable. The representatives looked at each other, in concern and confusion. President Cole, who had received the message simultaneously, finished her speech with words that had not been in her original draft. Today, we face a new challenge. Another group of advanced civilizations has contacted us with terms reminiscent of those we once rejected. Our response remains the same. She straightened her shoulders, her voice firm with conviction. We respectfully decline your terms. We offer our own instead. We will meet as equals or not at all. In orbit, Admiral Russell received new orders. The combined Confederation fleet began to assemble. Not just human ships, but vessels from every member species, forming the largest unified force the galaxy had ever seen. As the Andromedan ship approached, it encountered not a divided galaxy, ripe for control, but a unified confederation standing together. Human and alien vessels positioned themselves side by side, ready to meet the new potential threat as equals. The lesson of humanity's stubborn refusal had created something unprecedented. In the galaxy, unity without control, cooperation without submission, and progress without fear.